Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I'll try not to use all that 15 minutes. I would like to ask the question, though, Mayor Leffingwell, is Water Treatment Plant 4 not part of the proposed budget? Is it not?
It is remotely a component, yes, but we're
A $500 million plant is remotely part of the budget?
you want to control yourself, or do you want to be removed from the chamber?
I would respectfully ask that you not insult the intelligence of this community. By pretending that Water Treatment Plant 4 is not part of the budget and is not germane to this public hearing. It certainly is.
Your time continues.
Last fall, we had a public debate about this plant. And I know that a lot of you would like to put this issue behind you and make the decision based on the information at that time. But that's the wrong thing to do. The world has changed since then. We've learned, as these neighbors have learned, much to their chagrin, that there's going to be a 3-year mining operation in their backyard. That information was concealed from you by your staff and consultants. You didn't know that then. That shaft site was actually erased from the maps that were shown to the public. The information was concealed from you that up to 270 gallons per day, and that's probably an underestimate, of muck water, that's the technical term in your engineering report. Per minute, 270 gallons per minute for 3 years of construction, treated to some level, somehow, undescribed, and discharged into Bull Creek, above the Bull Creek Preserve, above the Bull Creek Park, above our water treatment plant intakes, all of that concealed. You contracted to have 4 stakeholder meetings before any of that information was finalized, before the route was finalized. None of those stakeholder meetings took place. Your staff and the contractor violated their own contract and axed 4 stakeholder meetings that we presumably paid for. Did they take off some money because they didn't have that? We're getting ripped off here. The red flags are just jumping up left and right. $50 million short on water sales. Your staff spent 2 years trying to convince you we had to have this thing right away. They told you, Mayor Pro Tem Martinez, on your first day on the dais, that it was an emergency and we had to have this plant online in 2011. Lo and behold, it wasn't an emergency. And now they insist it has to be online by 2014. You've adopted a water conservation policy that beats growth patterns. And from your own numbers and from our 10 years of track record, we can keep our water use flat through 2023 at least. We don't need this plant until beyond 2025. We don't need to build it now. You can erase this out of the budget tonight or on September 13th and keep some money in your pockets and put the money where it belongs. How is the water utility making up these shortfalls? They're cutting out, fixing the old broken pipes. They're trying to conceal those numbers too. It ought to be crystal clear what they're doing. But roughly, they were budgeting for this year and next year. They had been budgeting $20 to $25 million a year to fix the old cast iron pipes, where we're pumping billions with a B gallons of treated water into the ground, totally wasted. 20 to 25 million a year. Now it's going to be 10 to 12 million a year. Is that the right priorities? Build a plant we don't need. Stop fixing the pipes that have to be fixed and that are wasting water. That's backwards. This is a pure pork barrel project at what it boils down to. We should just be honest about it. You're going to pump hundreds of millions of dollars into the pockets of a bunch of contractors, most of them out-of-state contractors, for something we don't need. We don't get any better water. We don't get any more water because we're not going to treat water we don't really need, and we have plenty of capacity right now. This is like the bridge to nowhere. This is the water plant to nowhere. And let me explain. You're not even going to start building the transmission mains until the end of next year. And then it's going to take 3 years, and with all the complications you're certainly going to run into with tunneling, probably 4 years to build. You're starting to build the plant right now. You can build the plant in 2 years. So you're going to build a plant and have it sit there doing absolutely nothing for 2, 3, 4 years. How much sense does that make? It makes no sense whatsoever. Mayor Leffingwell, you're quoted in the press saying, well, we've already spent so much money on this thing, it would not be fiscally prudent to stop now. Well, we're going to get 50 MGD capacity for $508 million, not counting the interest payments, which your own utility has said are another $700 million. So $1.2 billion counting interest for 50 MGD. We recently expanded Ulrich and got more than that capacity for $60 million. So we're talking about a $400 million difference. Even if every dime of the $100 million you pumped in was flushed down the toilet, you'd still be saving ratepayers $300 million to stop right now. The $50 million you've spent on land is salvageable. It's good land. You paid 3 times too much for it in a fraudulent deal. That should be another giant red flag on the gross mismanagement of the Austin water utility.